Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are, and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like.
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time, but I just think the Bible is just something very special.
If you're one of the 2 million people who still support Donald Trump, I genuinely believe the education system, well, the American education system, has failed you in every possible way, and you are too stupid to deserve anything. In recent news, a lot of Trump supporters don't seem to like him anymore. Who would have guessed? Now look, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a goiper, I don't align myself with any ideologies, I don't really align myself with the left or the right, it's basically just the same thing in my opinion, and I was never a Trump supporter, never one. There's also a video of me trying to convince you to vote for Kamala or to vote for Democrats. I'm not brain dead. I can definitely see why people didn't vote for Kamala. Her campaign felt half-assed and had women twerking on stage. That is totally valid to not want to vote for somebody like that. However, I am genuinely surprised that a man like Trump, who has consistently lied and tricked his way to the top, has a friend who was a known trickster and had 7 failed businesses, tricked a whole group of people, nearly tricked the whole fucking country into believing that he knew what he was saying while he sleeps in our meetings. And honestly, I can't even feel bad for the people who voted for Trump. They literally did this to themselves. So many Trump voters are just rude, mean-spirited bigots, or they're just severely uneducated. And they're just upset because I wasn't invited to Thanksgiving, or I can't afford to eat anymore. This is entirely your fault. People literally warned you. You built the sandwich. We all warned you about the fact that, hey dude, Trump's a pretty bad guy. And all of you are like, shut up, lib. At this point, choosing to still be ignorant is still being stubborn. If you choose to be ignorant, that is being stubborn no matter what you say, especially when it comes to dealing with a grifter. How are they supposed to know Trump was a grifter? Trump tricked all of us. First off, you didn't trick me, so I don't know what the point is. I was 14 years old and I knew this man was evil. You got dudes in their 30s thinking Trump was like fucking Jesus.
Please, somebody tag in Donald Trump. Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump. Please save.
Like, I don't know why people act like this, but I can explain to you why I think Trump is a grifter and why I believe he is a grifter. I'm not going to say nothing is set in stone, but I am going to give a good point as to why I believe this. First off, let's explain what a grifter actually is. A lot of people refer to Israeli Ben Shapiro, Catboy Princess, or Dirt Monger Asmongold as grifters. I do not believe they are. This is another case of people online finding a word and using it in every fucking situation without knowing what it means. A grifter is somebody who doesn't believe what they are saying for profit or for gain. The people I mentioned, despite all them being incredibly stupid, are not grifters because they are not playing a character. They're being genuine. Asmongold, Ben Shapiro, and Nick Fuentes just happen to be successful while they believe what they say. Even if they lie or go back on a statement they said previously, this can be seen as them saving face. You can't apologize without truly being sorry. When Nick Fuentes says something racist and then says you have to do something about people who believe they are racist.
White people are every single bit justified in being racist. Anyone that has any genuine racial hatred, we have to just say there's something wrong with you.
TikTok's getting banned? Good riddance. I could care less.
High from the bungee. I got the eggs till like money. I get the bread till like Jumanji. I live my head since every son. I want the bread.
That is not grifting. This is either him trying to save face or he genuinely believes this. So a grifter who constantly lies for profit and reputation, That's what a grifter is. This would be Donald Trump. Now with that out of the way, we can get to the main topic at heart. Why I think Donald Trump is a grifter, and how he grifted stupid goy cattle Neanderthals who voted for him. Well, let's talk about his most recent scam. Trump's most recent scam, and the scam that was getting him caught out, was in June 2025, where he promised for creating a phone for his sycophants. Yes, he wanted to create a phone called fucking Trump Mobile. These people, some of them, paid a $100 down payment for this phone because they trust, love, and believe Trump is some sort of good soul, only for this phone to have never been spoken of again. You just paid a 100% down payment to get literally nothing. In fact, they kept saying it was delayed because of random topics. Not just the Trump phone, but the wireless server. Apparently the phone was supposed to cost $499, which I don't know why anybody would buy this. If you bought this, you should be laughed at by your family's generations to come. Even if nobody did buy this phone, cool. If nobody actually bought the phone, then we should all be willing to call out Trump on this. Who would buy this? Who would buy this? Who? No, you don't understand. You have to be patient. Releasing phones is hard. I spent $500 on Trump merch and I can't admit that I was wrong. I was incorrect.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Sure, man. One of the richest men in the world is also tied to other rich men, and the president of the United States is having such a hard time releasing a phone. Something Apple and many phone companies make sure they do every year. Maybe he also thought he's old. He knows he's old, and he's gonna spend his last few years scamming you stupids. Or how about Trumpcare? How is that doing? I thought it was gonna replace Obamacare. Please, tell me how that's going. You've all been bamboozled, tricked, fooled, like the dumbass you are. There was an entire Wikipedia article dedicated to his lies. How does one man have an entire Wikipedia article dedicated to his lies? I will leave this linked in the description. But this man must be Makima, or Homelander, or fucking Ito Makoto. How does one man just have nothing but lies? You should have known this guy was a bad businessman to begin with. He has 7 failed businesses. There was a time when people really thought this man was like the greatest businessman of all time. They talked about like he know how to run the country. Trust me. Then there was the fact that he goes on camera and says, I have ended wars. Yes, Trump has ended the war. There is no more war in Ba Sing Se. The war is over. Let's go over each of these wars he supposedly ended. Israel and Iran, India and Pakistan, Thailand and Cambodia, Rwanda and Democratic Republic of the Congo, Armenia and Azerbaijan, Israel and Hamas, Serbia and Kosovo, Egypt and Ethiopia. So what I'm basically saying is Israel versus Iran is basically Israel versus Hamas. And no, it's still going on and people are still dying. India and Pakistan has paused, not ended. Big difference. Thailand versus Cambodia started again. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, guess what? Started again. Armenia and Azerbaijan is only a declaration, so we will see how that plays out. We'll see. Serbia and Kosovo is still going. Egypt and Ethiopia is the only one ended, and I doubt Trump did anything. In fact, a lot of people are saying this was barely even a war. He's just your typical grifter and trickster. When the actual work is done, when the actual effort is done, when something is done, he shows up and he claims credit for it. That's what he does. He tricks, he grifts, he scams. This is all painfully obvious. Trump's not even that smart. He just knows everybody else around him is stupid. So he takes advantage of that. It's like a poorly written visual novel. Just all the characters are stupid except for our super cool, awesome main character. Literally just describes classroom of the elite. Trump does not care for the American people. The only one who cares about the American people are the American people. Our president does not care about us. Other countries do not care about us. The only people who have the American people's back are American people. The only people who Trump cares about are his paycheck, himself, and Israel. And how much money he can give them. In fact, before people bring up the fact, Trump is literally a Christian. Trump is Christian. Trump is a fake Christian. And that's the next section. Okay, let's get the obvious one out of the way. Trump never claimed to be Christian. These people will still argue this point in 2026. I almost said 5, but it's 2026. It's 2026. New year, same bullshit. Trump never claimed to be Christian. He has. On many occasions. This man's whole career is grifting stupid Christian people like y'all. Literally said how he's going to bring Christ back into the nation of people.
And speaking of special, Easter is special, and it's one of our favorite days. It's one of our favorite periods of time. We're honoring Jesus Christ, and we're going to honor Jesus Christ very powerfully throughout our lives, all throughout our lives, not just now, all throughout our lives. We're bringing religion back in America.
Oh my God!
But
What does that even mean? Why would a non-Christian want to bring Christ back into the nation? What are we even going to do? How do we even get the non-Christians out of here? Are we going to do another crusade? Is that what we're going to do? Real talk. Why is it always people who live on disability, live in trailer parks, morbidly obese, or just flat out incapable of talking to women, being like, we're going to bring back the crusades? Like after Charlie Kirk, we just had a whole bunch of full-grown men saying, you aren't going to like what happens. Liberals are going to be scared.
So breaking fucking news, Charlie Kirk got shot in the fucking neck. That was the last bastion. I can't be a liberal no fucking more. You see the fucking comments? I hope the gun is okay. The same fucking people asking for moral decency.
Wait, it's a black man talking like he was written by Vivzy Pop. No fucking way. Fuck. Ugh. The man who walks out because he's insecure about his hobbies is going to make me scared. Dude, just because I have muscles doesn't mean you're worth anything. I'm pretty sure I can outsmart like most people I'm stuck with on a daily basis. Now that we have that sorted out, and before I get too high on my own ego, Trump claims to be Christian. How can someone tell if someone is Christian or not? How can you tell this? Well, first off, if somebody asked him, what is your favorite Bible verse? Now, as someone who grew up with many Christians, you would know Christians love Bible verses. Go to your nearest church right now and ask every person there what their favorite Bible verse is, and you will get a wide range of different answers. And that one guy telling you to donate to the church's fund, him too. Now, with that out of the way, and what Christians love to talk about, what was Trump's answer to this question? As an old Christian, old-time follower of the faith, older man, the President of the United States, what is his opinions on the Christian faith? And what is his favorite verse?
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like.
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time, but I just think the Bible is just something very special.
It's very personal, and I don't want to get into it. Great, lovely. One of the world's greatest Christian leaders is a guy who won't say his favorite Bible verse because he's uncomfortable. You don't understand. He's not obligated by law, and he was uncomfortable. Uncomfortable to talk about his favorite Bible verse, but casually talks about grabbing. All right, man.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the.
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely.
All he had to do was say, Jesus wept. That's all he had to say. And while it would still be sus, it wouldn't be call-out worthy. Christians talk about their favorite Bible verse like how autistics talk about their favorite indie game. It should not have been that hard. And remember, when this guy got elected, he wouldn't even put his hand on the Bible. It's like he thought his hand would catch on fire or something. What? He has also sold his own Bible. Talking about like biblical stuff, he has sold his own Bible. Oh boy, Trump's selling an American Bible. I gotta buy 10 of those. I gotta buy 20. No, I gotta spend my whole life savings on Trump Bibles. Not only will this get me into heaven, but I'll have America cred. And everyone loves America cred. My American social credit score would go so high up, I'd be considered King Chud. I'll be sitting right next to Donald Trump and Netanyahu, and I'll finally meet Yakub. Ah, hell yeah! Time to buy some Trump Bibles! Which is probably the most blasphemous thing any human being can do. Trump, Elon, and JD Vance are moving like Prime, Ed, and Eddie, scamming these niggas. Now look, maybe it's because red states are severely uneducated, or they just don't know as much as us. You know, however, it gets to a point where if you are constantly falling for the easiest bait, this man right here, the man who looks like a chemically fed pig, is constantly tricking you with the most basic scams in history, it's kind of hard to feel bad for Trump voters. It is just natural selection at this point. That's what it is. Let me go and start on the people who say, oh, I didn't vote for this. Oh, I didn't vote for this. Dude, a vast majority of these people voted for Trump because they wanted to have minorities have fewer rights. A lot of Trump voters are some of the most racist people you will ever meet in your life. And now they're upset because the racism is actually hurting the nation. Oh, boo-hoo. And now they're complaining about the fact that they were like, I can't afford my food. Dude, we literally warned you this would happen. Why do you guys just not listen? You can say the same thing for liberals, but this video is not about liberals. They need to remember, they're not fighting against minorities or other poor people. We should actually be fighting against the people who are actually the reason why we can't have wealth, why we can't own houses. But nope, far easier to blame an immigrant instead of actually trying to fix the world or trying to help people. This is stupid. Billionaires will literally drop 60 million immigrants in your country. Yes, billionaires will drop immigrants in your country and then trick you into thinking that it's the immigrants are the reason why you are poor. The billionaires and the government and the people in power will trick you into thinking, oh, it's your neighbor, it's the next door man, they're the reason you're poor. No, it's you. The reason why there are immigrants in this country is because of the billionaires. I think one of the greatest forms of blasphemy a Christian could do, whether you are religious or not, is when somebody straight up said he was the first Jewish president, and he said, it's true, it's true.
6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
Yes, sir. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged.
Oy vey, who would have guessed? I guess the man who sold his own Bible is not Christian. I guess the man who can't name his favorite Bible verse is not Christian. I guess the man who casually engages in sexual and vulgar talk is not Christian. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
And if only there was somebody to blame.
Man, if only somebody out there, if only there was an organ in your head you could use that would let you know if something's a good idea or not. It starts with a B. I'm not thinking about it. Bwah, 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 bwah. Bowels. If only you trusted your bowels, trusted your gut, you could have known Trump was evil. If you sat through this whole list and you still think Trump is a Christian and you still think that he's not a snake oil salesman, click off the video, please, because I don't know what to tell you anymore. I do not know what to tell you anymore. You are beyond saving. You are beyond hope. There's also the fact that he lies all the time, and we'll get to that. But I forgot to mention Charlie Kirk. Now look, normally when people die, Christians grieve. Christians will grieve like the most despicable human being on the planet because now they might go to hell or something. So numerous Christians were sad about Charlie Kirk's death. Some of them made these fire AI songs too. We are Charlie Kirk. Like they made some pretty good ass songs, bro. Like they made some fire shit. So they asked Trump, how does he feel about one of the people he worked with, a friend and a supporter, getting killed? And this nigga talked about drugs.
My condolences to you, sir. My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks?
People got fired for making jokes about Charlie Kirk. Fired. People lost their jobs. People lost all of it because of snowflake Republicans being like, no, you can't make fun of someone. No, how dare you make jokes? I hate jokes. And then Trump's over here feeling on his wife like a sorority girl at a frat party. Then when Jimmy Kimmel made fun of him.
And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
This guy got mad twice because somebody called him out on being an obviously like morally reprehensible person. Then when South Park made fun of him, he got mad. Bro's beefing with comedians. Bro's beefing with comedy shows. He might have also cheated on his wife with his not Christian. Cheating on your wife is actually very anti-Christian, but that's all baby mama drama, and I'm not paternity cult. I'm not gonna get wrapped up in that stuff. Okay, well, he might have lied about being a Christian, but he's helping the economy. Two things. One, good job admitting the fact that you don't care about having a Christian nation, but only care about your pockets, which is totally fine. If America was a Christian nation, it would probably suck. All the cool shit would be gone, and we'll just be moral f***ing all day long. Two, it's not even fixing the economy. Now look, I know the economy has been taking blows. even before Trump. And yes, gas prices have gone down. Maybe this is thanks to Trump, maybe this isn't thanks to Trump. You can argue this is not entirely Trump's fault, but some of this is. Like, or at least the fault of the wealthy class, which Trump is tied to. Tyson just laid off 30% of its workforce in Lexington, Nebraska. Inflation is still high. Only like 30% of Gen Z, my generation, is expected to own a house. Even farmers are having fewer crops because of the mass deportation.
Right now, we're in a very dire situation. September is upon us, harvest is starting in the deep south, and we have 0 bushels of soybeans on the books to be sold to China for this current crop that's about to come out of the field. Historically, over the last 5 years, about a third of soybean sales to China would be booked. China amounts to 25% of our total U.S. soybean crop. So that would be 8 or 9% of the whole U.S. crop would normally be on the books with China right now, and we have 0. That is alarming. The farm economy as a whole is struggling. Inflation has caused our cost of production to rise drastically on every front. Commodity prices, in particular soybeans, are down about 50% from where they were 3 years ago. And our numbers are deeply in the red.
Which means we will have, guess what, fewer crops. Why don't they hire actual Americans? Because a big chunk of actual Americans will not do these jobs. That's why they have immigrants do the jobs. So they can get paid minimum labor, barely any money, and they just do the work. Barely any money, they do a lot of the work, and everyone's happy. Do you want to pick corn in the field? Soybean exports are down 53%. Farm costs are up by 12%. AG trade deficit at record. I guess owning the libs doesn't cover operating costs. The national debt hit $38 billion because of this man. So he has completely screwed over the economy and has lied to everyone who thought he was telling the truth, and spent his remaining time building a fucking Minecraft expansion pack on the White House and giving the rest of the money to Israel. Even if you want to bring up the decrease in egg prices, there is few factors to that, like the avian flu decreasing. Yes, so people want to bring back Trump brought down egg prices. That's because the avian flu is no longer a common issue. Trump or Biden had any effect on that flu. Yet our president, who stands for free speech, sued Paramount for making Kamala look good for some reason. This is a grown-ass man in his 70s getting into cat fights with women. I think the last part we need to talk about is how Kamala just like how he and Kamala gives most of our money to Israel and love Israel. I do not believe Jews won the war. I don't. My beef is with billionaires. My beef is with the wealthy class. But the United States under the Biden and Trump administration has given at least $21.7 billion in military assets to Israel since the start of the Gaza war 2 years ago. It says under the Biden administration. Yes, under Biden. I know Biden sucks, but trying to shift the blame from one delusional rich guy to another delusional rich guy isn't tricking anybody anymore. Furthermore, here are Trump's AIPAC numbers. $238 million to Israel. Now look, AIPAC is an entirely different beast. I don't like how our president is giving money to Israel instead of helping the citizens. Now there is one more Trump-related topic I have yet to mention. That is because I've been building suspense. But let's talk about the list.
Could you please give us your name? Jeffrey Epstein.
Just as I have Oda foreshadowed, Trump, the Christian president, has told numerous lies, but there was one lie, a lie so big that it has changed everything. The Epstein list is a sore spot for all Republicans, because these niggas believed every lie Trump said, only for it to be revealed that he was in the files. Yeah, everybody knew he was gonna be in those. Everybody knew it. Most people thought he was, except for MAGA people who were like, no, he's not in the files. And then people were like, he lied to us. How are we supposed to know we got trapped? Well, silly, there are signs. Let me tell you what these signs are. Trump said he would release the files if he won.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
Bondi said it was on her desk.
the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
Then suddenly the files didn't exist. They were a hoax.
President, right now there have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And
So this is a Democrat hoax.
Then he claimed Obama wrote the files. Then Trump said Obama is in the files. Then he claimed Hillary made the files. Then suddenly our government shut down and oopsies, now we can't release the goddamn files. But too bad, because they were a hoax anyway, apparently. The Democrats wrote the files, apparently. Oh wait, Trump is in the files, but he is actually innocent, and everybody else in the files is Satan. Actually, Trump is an FBI agent, and that's why.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try.
Wait, no, he's not an FBI agent. But they were redacted for the victims, even though they released an image of Trump in it, and they redacted that one. The signs were there. The signs were always there. You should have known. Everybody should have known. Unsurprisingly, a bunch of Trump supporters are still on his side. To this day, people still think that Obama wrote the list, like Obama went on fanfiction.net and typed a story called Epstein Files. This whole reveal was messy and insane, and if you genuinely don't believe that the president isn't hiding something, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. And what really causes my brain to go off, it's the 2024 election. Like, it was very suspicious how Elon Musk kind of randomly became a right-winger. Like, I do know his son or daughter became transgendered, which, like most people, would be a bit off-putting, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. But he suddenly started to get involved in politics, and he gave so much money to Trump during the run. Or about how J.D. Vance already had ties to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel owns Palantir, who supports Israel as he gives them an identification device to spot out terrorists, which is clearly going to be used in America. While also Netanyahu says he wants to have control over America's social media so he can end anti-Semitism. What is happening in my country? And Elon already said Trump was in the Epstein files not that long ago. All of this is suspicious. This is my theory. This is what I believe happened. I don't want to be 100% honest. I think this is what happened. Elon, Thiel, and pro-Israel billionaires gave a shit ton of money to Trump because Trump and most right-wingers are in support of billionaires and countries like Israel because it makes them richer. The entire 2024 political election is just a bunch of rich, disillusioned white guys who only care about their pockets off while they lie to the American people about the Epstein files and deportations, which harmed farmers in the long run. This is not me spreading an anti-Semitic rhetoric. I am not an anti-Semitic. I am not racist. I'm not transphobic. I got nothing against white people. I got nothing against rich people, unless the rich people are actively trying to hinder us. Billionaire wealth has gone up $33 trillion in the last decade, while median wages have barely moved. The tax cuts are only boosting CEOs, and Peter Thiel is literally Vox from Hazbin Hotel. But in real life, a gay billionaire who wants to create a police state and is scared of the Antichrist. The problem is not Muslim. The problem is not trans people. It's not immigrants. Yes, they can be seen as an issue. Yes, they can cause problems, like every other group of people in America. But a trans person is not why I can't afford a house. They're not why the job market sucks. They're not why. They're victims of the same garbage system that everybody else is in. Trans people are the same victims of a society that the chuds are. We are all victims of the modern age. However, our biggest issue are people who are not victims of the modern age. Specifically, rich folk who claim to be Christian and fool gullible into giving them money so they can continue to mistreat us. So, how can we fix this? Well, there's a lot of ways we could try and fix this, but I don't think it's going to be easy. To put matters simply, if you voted for Trump, just admit you misguided the situation and you were wrong. Sure, you'll be made fun of and mocked for it, but that's what you guys did for years, so it's whatever. And it's better to be mocked and made fun of than to have the cycle repeat and you get grifted again. 2, you need to learn when you are being grifted. When someone is lying, you better make sure they hold to their promises. You better hold them accountable for what they said, and you better make sure that they follow through on their end of the deal. Trump did a lot of things that didn't really sound the smartest, nor did he stick with a lot of reputable people. He was clearly evil. Some of the tactics he used was deflection, had people focus on trans people and immigrants instead of corporations and billionaires. Tribalism, Christians versus non-Christians, Christians versus trans, natives versus immigrants. The system can be broken, but it's not because you voted for Kamala or because you voted for Nick Fuentes. We need to call out billionaires. We need to be educated. We need to study, and we need to call folks out. Lastly, do not have your politics be defined by a single person. Whether that's, again, Trump, Kamala, Nick Fuentes, or fucking Bernie Sanders. You need to have your own political belief system, which makes it harder for people to trick you. That's all for today. And remember, everyone, play Pokemon Clover and watch Super Hebe. Well, play Super Hebe. I watched it because I couldn't play it. See you next video.